Hey everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. Oh my gosh, I missed you. I missed you tons and tons and tons. Seriously, bro. Bros and gals. Like it has been a really crazy end of 2020 and maybe an even crazier beginning of 2021. I'm not quite sure how to classify it yet, but for sure we are warriors and we're gonna just like crush this year. And when I say warriors, I mean like not like warrior, like hey, I'm worried, but like we are warriors, we're tough. So, I mean, dude, if 2020 has taught me anything, it is that like, hey, we're tough, we're resilient. Yeah, you tough and you got this. All right. So, I want to talk about what I've learned in 2020. And actually, I was supposed to publish this earlier, but I was still kind of like ruminating on like, what exactly do I want to share with you guys? And of course, as a writer, but also as a coach, like I want to be transparent. I want to be here for you and not like make you feel like you need to be someone else in order to be a writer. We have so many myths out there. We have so much content that sometimes it can feel overwhelming. And all of a sudden you think, I need to be this person. I need to be that person in order for me to be a writer. And I'm here to tell you that no, that's not true. And also you can be a writer however you need to be a writer, and it's totally cool. So these next like 5 top things that I learned in 2020, I hope that they inspire you to know that even if 2020 didn't go exactly the way you want, that dude, you can still do this. And in fact, 2020 might actually be the training year. It might have been the strengthening year. It might have been taking off the training wheels year. And now 2021 is going to be like, boom, yes. I mean, totally. I could totally tell you that I feel like I had a transformation as well. 2020 rolls into 2021. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, like, I hate New Year's. And if you like follow my podcast, you know that I really do try to stay optimistic. I really try to see the glass as half full whenever I can, because I feel like that's really what propels us forward, especially if you're dealing with things like depression and also physical ailments, which if you know my story, that is exactly what I went through, and staying optimistic is what pulled me through. So I try to stay like that, and I'm gonna be honest with you, New Year's is a time when I'm just like I just cannot get it together. I feel like, and I'm sure you feel this way too, right? You're like, I didn't reach my goals. I'm not where I wanted to be. And also, now here's the new year and here's all these resolutions and I know I'm going to fail at them anyway. Like I'm not even going to reach half of them. By week 1, I'm not going to be at the gym, right? Like anybody else feel that way? Because I do. So I'm here to tell you that thinking is normal, but it can stop. So over the years, and especially this past year, I've been working with a confidence coach and I've been working with great people who are also working on becoming their better selves, their more higher level selves. And I didn't realize how effective it was until New Year's came around, because I know myself, and New Year's is always like, oh man, New Year's. I love Christmas, I love Halloween, especially love Thanksgiving because of all the food, or National Heritage Day, and to the people of the Native American culture, which we are switching. So that's awesome. So I love those holidays at the end where you kind of can be with family and friends, except for in 2020. And really get a chance to enjoy the downtime. But New Year's hits me. And if you're like me, it's like slap in the face. But this New Year's was like, bro, like cool. All of that mindset work that I've been working on and that I've been showing my clients has worked, because New Year's came around and I was like, I'm excited. I'm actually really proud of the stuff that I accomplished in 2020. I did quite a bunch of things, and even though there was a pandemic and a lot of other stuff, it was all about these like next couple of tips that helped me to realize how the new year changed. So I hope that this helps you move forward, with that same, new sense of renewed optimism, and also this kind of wonder and hope that, this was just a strength training session, and we're gonna go on into the next year and we're gonna crush it. All right, so now let's dive in these top 5 tips and a bonus one, or the things that I learned in 2020. So what I learned, number 1, is grace and compassion. Now, we live in a world where, it's starting to get more and more like, hey, you gotta hustle. You have to be here right now at this second. You have to get everything in at this moment and you gotta go. And especially because when you don't do something, you feel like, man, I failed. And I deserve to beat myself up over it. Like, I didn't do good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not valuable enough. So this year, I really practiced having grace and compassion on myself. And this was something that I do in a kind of a mindset of customer service. Like, I want to help, right? And when I talk to other people, I'm like, how can I help you? And how can I push you forward? I don't want you to walk away feeling like you have a bad day. So if I have that mindset towards other people, why would I do that to myself? Why would I say like, hey, Maciel, like, you didn't write that book. What the F? Or, what's wrong with you? Excuse my language. But what is wrong with you? Or like, man, you don't deserve to write that book. Like, why did you do that? So y'all know what I mean, right? That inner dialogue that just like wreaks havoc. So one of the things I practiced this year, which is saying like, hey, all right, you have some stuff going on. There's a pandemic going on. You tried to write yesterday and you got a couple of pages. Good job. All right. You're going to do a couple more pages today. Good job. And you know what, y'all? That actually propelled me because I wasn't feeling so bad. I wasn't feeling guilty. I wasn't feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm behind. I have to do all this stuff. And it helped propel me forward. So even though it feels counterintuitive, I'm going to like recommend that you talk to yourself like you would like your best friend. Hey, you can do it. You can tackle it. You've got this. It's okay if you had a rough day. Today will be better. All right, my lesson number 2 is that coaching was really cool and really fun, and I'm excited to launch it in a whole different way this year. So as you know, at the beginning of the year, I had some like beta clients and I wasn't sure what to expect. Like, I knew that I had my writing expertise and I was still kind of like, can I show someone how to do this? Like, what do they expect of me? How do I do this? So I kind of was like not sure how the journey was going to go. However, I am super happy with how those results went. And I'm excited that they can write on their 2020 like goals, like, yeah, finished writing the manuscript for like this big like a self-reflective memoir, finished the book for the children's book, did the entire outline, and it was a fully realized outline for a Christian reflective book. So I was like blown away because I didn't know how much fun it would be helping people, and I learned so much in this year, and also just got a boost to understand how I can help people. And I guess you don't really know until you do it. So when I did it, I was like, oh yeah, it makes total sense. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And I am super excited for this next round. I'm super excited for everyone that's coming into the program. And I'm just like, you guys, I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. So that was my lesson number 2. Lesson number 3 is I can ignore other people's comments and I can keep writing. So this one was a hard one, especially because as a writer and as an introvert, it can be really hard when you see somebody's comments, or if you take like someone who you admire and you're like, this person's word means a lot to me. So I definitely had some like hiccups, people who spoke to me who I, they were essentially mentors or coaches, and it didn't quite turn out the way I had expected. However, I went back to writing and I was like, cool. Like, you kind of fear it. You're like, you're not sure what to do with some of that stuff, but then you realize that, hey, writing is between you and the page. It's not about anyone else. It's not about, what some of these authors might say or what these coaches might say. It has taken the results of my coaching to be like, yeah, you know what? This feels good. I'm helping people, and I'm also helping people with my words, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. And so that was really just liberating, because you kind of fear it and then you face it and you're like, oh, okay. All right. I got through it. Let's do it. Let's keep going. All right. Part number 4 is that 4? Yeah. Writing for fun is important. Now, I said this before, especially in the podcast, but I mean, if you're going to make writing a career, you should make it fun, or it should be fun. Hopefully it is fun. And the whole point of that is just to remind you that we're all writers for a reason. We're all writers because we love to write. And also, I mean, it's part of your like DNA at this point. You know, you love to have these stories in your mind and read these stories and share these stories. And when we start putting pressure on ourselves and feeling guilt and shame about writing, the writing process, then the fun starts to get seeped out of it. And I just want to be here to remind you that you have an obligation to yourself to find the fun in your writing process, because your words matter. All right. Also, my last like official learning thing was that I can write for myself into a deadline. Now, I used to do this all the time back in school. I also have done this to meet for clients. I've written and ghostwritten books for clients. And I've met deadlines for those people. But when it came to this year in 2020, I was writing primarily for myself. And it was really hard for at least a good 3/4 of the year to say like, hey, I'm going to show up for myself. And that was difficult. And also, I'm here to tell you guys, like, if you feel that way, like, I've written lots of books and I'm still feeling that way. So I want to tell you that, yeah, it's normal, and just go ahead and say, oh, hey, feeling, I see you, I accept you, and we're going to keep writing, you know? So that was a huge thing. All right, now my final biggest like learning tip that I encountered this whole year was that I learned a whole new appreciation for outlining for my dictation. Now, if you listen to the podcast, you know that I'm like, outlining, it's not really my thing because it really creates a lot of stress. However, my boyfriend had let me know, he was like, hey, because I was hitting that roadblock, right? And my previous tip was that it was hard for me to write for myself. And he was letting me know, he said, hey, like, you know, there are a lot of parts in your life that, you know, kind of go at 1,000 miles per hour. And that's my personality. I'm an INFP. I'm kind of like all over the place. And I've learned to love and accept that about myself. But he said, you know, maybe you want to organize your writing so you don't feel like everything is all over the place. So I said, all right, I'll try it. You know, we'll try it. And I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, look at those little guideposts and those little like signals to go on the way. And that last book that I did by an outline was awesome. So I had tons of fun, and it was really cool to have a new appreciation for outlining, because I used to be an outliner, but then I created a lot of stress for myself. And then now I had become a pantser, and then I'm back to maybe plancing, not totally sure. However, I have a new appreciation for that. So also just an encouraging word to say that, hey, sometimes you evolve and you change and you become a hybrid, or maybe you fall in love with a different type of writing method, and it's totally okay. We're always learning. We're always trying to grow. And remember that writing is all about you and your words on the page. All right, so those are the top things that I learned in 2020. And thank you all for sharing this journey with me. I'm really excited for what's going to happen in 2021. And that's going to be in a different episode here. So y'all, thank you. Keep writing. Remember that your story matters and that every writer is different. All right, well, see you on the other side.